afternoon, wherever you are in the big wide world. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be with two of the best humans on the planet. It has been so long since I've connected with them. I think the last time was potentially the cat conference. Oh my God, how did you do that?
It's magic.
Magic.
It's our love for you visualized.
Oh my God, I love it. I think it was the Naturally Cats conference. I think it was like, which was not this February just gone, like
a year.
Not even the one before, maybe.
Yes. It's been way too long.
Was it? Just too long. We love you so much, and we are so grateful that you reached out and that we get to have this awesome conversation with you today.
It's going to be a meaty one, I have to say. Like, you know me, like, you know, we don't just talk about like light and fluffy stuff. We kind of get into the weeds and we really dig in.
We love
Let's
it. Let's get weighty.
Okay. Let's look at the weeds and the herbs. So this evening or this afternoon, whatever your time zones, I have to say, completely knock me off kilter. It's bad enough that I've got 1, 2, 3, that you've got 4 that I've got to contend with. I thought you all changed at the same time and you don't.
No, it's madness here. It really is madness.
It is.
It's like,
so
yeah.
Whatever time of day, evening, afternoon you're watching us, peeps, welcome, and it's lovely to have you here. Come into the comments so we know that you're enjoying this session with us. So this evening we are talking about managing needs in a multi-cat home, because it's something that since I have been the only human in the home, I have struggled with. And when I think of multi-cat homes, I generally think of you guys with, 3 or more, right? Like a whole, like, is it Clouder,
yeah. Right.
But even with 2, for me, it's a struggle at times. Like, I'll be on the sofa and one of them's on my lap and then one wants to come in at the door. I'm like, I don't want to move this one to let that one in. And that one's then sitting in the cold outside. And I feel like a really shitty mum because I'm like, well, what do I do? So I wanted to chat with you about how do you manage multiple needs, yours and the cat's. So let's start with yours.
A great subject, right? Because I think, the majority of us in the cat community, it really doesn't matter how many cats you have. If it's just one, or, we have friends that have like 29, 19 cats,
32.
32.
Day.
It is, it's a lot, and they each have different personalities, and you talk about this too. Like it's important to understand each cat as an individual, and we try to do that. But then sometimes we get overwhelmed in trying to figure out our cats and stop really thinking about our own needs and what we need as humans, as the parents, to carry on that
find a balance, or at least find a happy place for everybody, right? That's
and then sometimes we overthink it.
Yes.
And yes.
Right.
Yes. And when we overthink it, then sometimes just unwanted things happen when we ourselves are stressed here in this home. When our stress levels are high, our cat's stress levels are high, but they don't look the same in each individual cat or at all like our stress levels. We're like, we're super stressed.
Or there's that,
and they're like running around or peeing on something or fighting with each other or, like hiding. And there's like totally different personalities in this home, and everybody expresses their anxiety differently.
Yeah. And how do you notice the difference between what's their normal and when their anxiety, whether it's yours or theirs, but anxiety like creeping into the home? Is it the obvious signs like, oh my God, there's cat wee in the sink there, or there's some on the kitchen worktop, or what is it for you that is not like the trigger, but the moment when you recognize like, oh, hang on a second, we need to pause and recalibrate and look at what's going on here? What is that for you?
I think for me, and this is something I was just going to say, I think that you're adding a dynamic when there's 2 people in the house, right? Mm-hmm. Like also have to deal with the dynamics and the ways
of each other's energy.
Right. So for me, I'll speak for myself. For me, it's when, 2 cats that don't usually have a scuffle just go a little too hard in the paint. And it's like, oh, everybody needs to chill. Right. Mm-hmm. And And it's not just, like Friday and Zorro, sometimes they're siblings, they're a Panther babies. They sometimes Zorro will just want to play a little too hard and it's a little right. Then there's times where it just goes a little too far and someone gets puffed up and it's like, okay, let's all just take a beat, because as soon as that happens, and it's the other cats too that you'll feel it from, they know that Friday and Zorro can have a good tussle. But when it reaches that point, it's like everyone puffs up, and then it's like, okay, everybody just chill a minute, right?
But I think when we take some steps back, and look at it from like an outward perspective, I don't know. I mean, other than the occasional somebody coming to the house that the cats are like scared of, 99.9% of the time, we are the reason that they are stressed, right? It is us that is creating this, and it's imbalance in us that we're seeing. Because when we look at it from it's usually like a couple of weeks or something, or, maybe even just a week, but it's like happening over and over and over again, where, they're fighting every day or multiple times a day, or they're peeing all over the house. And there's like what the, and then when you stop and you're like, oh, we have been, on like high tilt, like we have been high stressed. We have not been taking care of ourselves. We have not been doing the things that we should be doing, that we know we should be doing for ourselves. And that's why we're seeing this. And then a short correction, like a good night's sleep, being, eating a healthy meal and exercising, literally a couple days, and we can see it change. So that's how we know that this is coming from us, is that when we direct our attention to ourselves and we take care of ourselves, then we see the results in our cats.
Yeah. Isn't there a flip though, right? When you do the things that are good for you, like we'll talk about the humans for a second. So like for me, it's meditate, go for a walk, maybe a bit of journaling, you ladies said about, having a nice meal, good night's sleep, and or exercising, and you do those things for a while because you're feeling a bit crappy, a bit low, a bit strung out. And then, so you do them, you look after yourself, you nurture yourself, and then you're at a good place. And then it's kind of like, you don't like I don't consciously think I'll stop doing that, but you kind of like the time slips away, or the morning creeps in, or the emails get to be answered earlier, or your computer goes on a bit quicker. Yeah. And then before you know it, when was the last time I meditated? When was the last time I journaled or went for a walk? So like, do you get that as well, or is that just me?
It's not just you.
I think it's a good point that's, and we say, oh, I want to be balanced. It's like everybody knows, they're probably laughing because everybody knows it's very difficult to stay balanced. It's about keeping your cup at a certain place. There's going to be fluctuation, but it is when we completely stop the things that are helping to fill our cup that things start to get a little wonky.
Unravel.
Yeah.
But it is like we kind of discussed, it is the emails, or it is the dailiness or the busyness that starts creeping in. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that gets chucked for the day is, we don't have time for a walk this morning. Let's just get to it.
Yep.
Or, we don't have time to go grocery shopping. So let's just eat some frozen, whatever.
Or order in.
Or order something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is always the stuff that we think that we're doing, or the stuff that we're doing to care for ourselves. That's the first thing that gets pitched when things get busy. And it is a good reminder, that saying that's like, you cannot give what you do not have. Mm-hmm. And when it starts to snowball, and then our cats start doing something, it becomes another thing that just snowballs it, instead of us having the mind space to stop and say, where is this really coming from?
Yeah.
Go on, Jae.
Well, I was going to say, we also, we in the business that we work in, we talk to a lot of cat parents that, we don't necessarily feel comfortable saying it, just like I'm about to say it, but they will keep their cats chronically ill, or make their cats chronically ill. Like, we work in health, right? We work in feline health, and we see these like high stressed people. They're always calling, always emailing. My cat has pancreatitis. Now my cat has, a blockage. Now my cat has, like all of these things over and over. And it's like, you got, we'll send them some articles or send them to you, or, like things like that to kind of give like a push for them to grasp that. But it's, it's not something that can necessarily be told to you. You just have to understand it at some point that you are, you are the reason that your cat's, and I'm grateful that even though we can't have nice things when we are not taking care of our own energy, and our house is like like an all-day job to clean, they're still not chronically ill. And that I am grateful for. That it's not expressing itself yet. It's not expressing itself as illness. It's behavioral issues that we see in our home, but that's not in every home.
Yes.
So
no. Sorry, go on, love. You.
Oh, I was just going to say, so I think it's really important that we have this discussion, that we, talk about these things, because we have to, at some point there's going to be one person that hears something that you say or something that we say, and they're going to be like that. We're just going to be that conduit, that vessel. And they need to hear it at that moment in those words. And then it clicks and they're like, okay, I got to do something for myself. And that's
that is the point, right? So like with the whole the saying that you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. The guardians have got to want to make a change, and that's not. And the difference is, like in the Become a Solid Cat Guardian program that I run, we talk about conscious awareness, and it's about recognizing, like you said, that we play a part in it. We are all beings, human or furry, living together. We have personalities, we have needs, we have emotions, and if they're not supported, that comes out in different ways. And like you said, in my experience, behavior is, although not easy to manage, at times a better option than physical issues, because with physical issues, you obviously, we're not against medical treatment, like it's holistic, it's all together. You need medication, you need vet care, but if the guardian, like you said, isn't willing to recognize the part that they play in the situation, in that holistic picture, which is essentially the home, nothing's going to change. So you can try a pill, you can try a tablet, you can try a therapy, a treatment, a session, and all these things. But what I find one of the hardest things, and I think it's the reason why my business focus has shifted, it's about helping the guardians to recognize that we do play a part in it. And when we are on autopilot, or when we are, you said about cup, I use the sparkle jar analogy, when your jar and your cup is like, you're running on crusties right at the bottom, like, who are you good for? Like, who can you help? Because you're barely surviving and your cats definitely aren't thriving. And it's hard to take responsibility, right? It can be hard when we are lost in the worry, because we love them, right? We love them so much that we want them to be better. We want them to be healthy. We want them to be happy. We want the problem behavior to stop. We want them to be well. But we have to take responsibility for our part in that. And I'm not sure that everybody's ready to do that. And hey, that's okay. Everyone's on their own journey.
But but I think it's also, important that we, excuse me, that we give ourselves grace as well. Because there's a difference between taking accountability and blaming yourself, right?
Totally different energy.
And I feel like whenever we say, oh, it's my fault, I'm this, I'm that, that's not positivity. That's not shifting the energy. That's feeding into the negative energy. And it's hard to make those changes that we need to for our cats and for ourselves when we are blaming ourselves. If we are sitting in negativity, we're not going to make those changes. We're going to spiral down. And I'm saying this from experience, okay? Clearly, I'm saying this from experience, because this is what I see in my life over and over again. Is that I start to blame myself, and I'm like, I know what to do, and I'm not doing it. And like, even just saying that, right? Like, I said that before we jumped on. Like, we know what to do, but right now in this time, we're not doing it. And it's spiraling down, because I wake up with this, I did it again. I didn't wake up in time to take that walk. I drank too much last night. I did it again, and I'm blaming myself, instead of being like, okay, today's a new day. Do something different. Let's do something, that's going to create more positivity and blessings.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree with that. I just want to pick up on, there's a comment here about, from Matt. just to bring in, he said, you've been trying hard not to let his stress show through with the continued failed transition attempts from kibble to more wet, trying to make that time positive, but it's so hard when I feel frustrated daily and it still doesn't click. But I know they'll pick up on it. So I get what you guys are saying. Like, isn't that the truth of it? When we are trying to support our cats and it's not going how we want it to, like you just said, you know, Jae, like those emotions, that pressure that we put on ourselves, it is that continuous spiral. Like I talk about an infinity symbol, like a sideways 8, you know, like you want it to be different and it's not, so you feel bad. You want it to be different and it's not, so you feel bad. And it just keeps on repeat, right?
Right.
So how do you guys, how do you break that? How do you show yourselves grace and compassion?
I want to pick up real quick on what Matt said though about the trying so hard, capitalize so hard, not to let the stress show, right? Because I think that it's counterintuitive in a way when you realize that maybe there is a health issue, or maybe there is a transition that's not going well, or maybe you're having behavioral issues. It's counterintuitive to think about you in that, right? Yeah. It's like I'm focusing on what the problem is here, and that's stressing me out. So, right. So it's counterintuitive to take it back a notch and think about, because I remember when we were going through transitioning food, it was, what did you call it? This something awareness?
Conscious awareness.
Conscious awareness. We would like take some time before we made their meals. And Jae was especially good at this. And she would just get so excited about the incredible ingredients and warming it up and being like, and talking to the cats as she was making food about, this is about to be so delicious and nutritious, and making it with love, you know? And it was like, is that magic or
no? It's energy. It's
right.
energy. That's it's not magic, it's energy.
Right.
And it's true to this day. If I wake up and, you know, stub my toe, let's just say I wake up and stub my toe. Lately it's been insomnia. But if I wake up and I'm like, I need to get out of this headspace, or I need to get more sleep, or whatever that is. And then I go downstairs and start making breakfast, and it's like, why isn't anybody eating today? Mm-hmm. Usually I feed them before coffee, so it doesn't necessarily correlate until later on. And then I'm like, oh, because I woke up with that bad energy, right? Like I got up with the bad energy. I didn't take a moment to shift, and so they're not eating. And I think it's really important that we have to, and going back to the giving ourselves grace, what I would say to Matt, is it Matt? Yeah. Is to give yourself grace, right? Like in those, it can take 6 months, it can take a year, to do the transition. Give yourself grace and give your cat grace, and know that your cat, you cannot hide your energy from your cat. Just like I was going
to say that. Yeah.
You can't hide it. You can't hide it. I get that, like taking a shower can sometimes help with that scent. When it comes to the cortisol, washing off the cortisol can sometimes help. But if you're still in that height stress aware situation internally, then it doesn't matter. It's still coming out, right? Like they're still going to know. So you can't hide it from your cat. So you just have to be like, all right, what are we going to do today? What are we going to do? Are we going to eat, or are we not going to eat?
You can't hide it. You can't hide it. And I think that for me, I try to support guardians with recognizing, okay, so you're feeling really frustrated about this, deal with it, right? Like, you can swallow it back down. You can try and ignore it. You can just push it to one side. You can just put the plate of food down and hope that things change. But actually, like you said, it is coming out, right? It's almost like if you stubbed your toe in the morning, you're a gray cloud walking around the house. Just because you can't see the energy, like you said, doesn't mean they can't feel it. And this isn't about, toxic positivity. My sister told me that phrase the other day, and I love it. Pretending everything's fine. Yeah. It's about, like you said with the food, it's actually creating that everything's fine. So thinking it is different to feeling it, and you can say things over and over again, but if you're still feeling really like off and frustrated inside, it doesn't matter what you're saying or what you're thinking. If you're still feeling irritated and angry, things aren't going to change, and they can feel all of that, So for me, when it took us 6 months with Leo, with sorry, with baby Max. And there are still days now when he won't eat raw. And I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on with me? Like, what have I just brought to his plate? Do you know what I mean? Like, and he's like, God, Mum, I'm not going to go anywhere near that. What are you thinking? I'm like, oh, I put my emails on for half an hour before I got in the shower, you know, before I prepped for the day. Yeah. So I love what you said about the having a shower and, you know, changing the scent. And I would also put with that, you know, give yourself a minute, like even if it's just stood in the middle of the kitchen, you know, just taking a nice deep breath. I know I've done this with you ladies before. People will have seen it many times on my social media and in the Soul-Led Guardian program, you know, like 3 deep breaths, right? That's all you need to do. It doesn't take 5 minutes of meditation, although do that if you can. But like, you know, 3 deep breaths, 1 hand on your heart, 1 hand on your tummy, and just breathe, you know? Yep. Just take a breath. Like, I'm feeling stressed about my cat not eating, but in this moment, like, I'm okay, you know? And another one, like, I'm really worried my cat won't eat, but I know we'll figure this out, you know? And it's just even that you kind of acknowledge where you are, but also you can choose to how you want to shift and what you want to bring to things instead, you know?
And I would end with that third breath being, today is a good day and I am going to be blessed and everything is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
With the like, let go of the.
Dr. Barry Sands says that. She's like, it's all okay. Like it's like she does a lot with the breathing and stuff as well. But that's actually hard. Like what you said, if you're not being honest with what you're actually feeling, you can say it. Yeah. So you're blue in the face. Yeah. So actually changing that the physiology of your body for a moment by breathing and getting oxygen to your brain. Yep. And it does make a difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. I would say like small things, like even smiling, you know, like when you're feeling or frustrated, like
so difficult when you're frustrated.
But if you look in the mirror, and I don't know if this will work for everybody like it does for me sometimes, but if I'm really frustrated, I'll get in front of the mirror and I will smile. And I know it's a fake smile, but I'm looking at myself and it legit turns into a real smile because now I feel like stupid. I'm dumb, right? But it actually turns into a little bit of a giggle. Going for that walk, going for that run for me, going outside is very it's my meditation, if you will, right? Like going outside, getting, you know, just looking around. We live in a beautiful community and we live in a beautiful place on the planet. I think everybody does, where, you know, finding that green, finding that mountain, finding that bird. That, you know, that tree, that's something in nature. If you're a nature oriented person, seeing something outside, breathing in fresh air and being grateful for the clouds in the sky or whatever it is, you know, like gratitude is
Laura Lee just said that focusing on something that you're grateful about will completely shift your energy. Yes. And that is like G.K. Chesterton says, pops in my head all the time. Gratitude is the highest form of thought.
Yep.
It is so true. And that's one of those things where if you're having a hard time feeling like everything's going to be okay, if you can think about something that you're truly grateful for, it does change how you feel.
Even if
then
it can better inform
the situation.
Right.
Well, that's what we say, but like with cats, I've said to people before, like, remember a time when you had beautiful loving. Remember a time when you were on the bed having cuddles, when they brushed against your leg, when they sat on your lap, when they gave you eye kisses, when they drooled on your nose. Like, find that moment and remember it, because that is a moment where you can bring your vibe and you know, bring in that gratitude and change your vibration. You may be looking at a plate that they've like looked at and walked away, but, you know, take a breath and then find that moment. And like you said, shift your vibration. Gratitude is immensely powerful. And even if it is something sometimes really like bizarre, like I'm grateful that I've got a roof over my head, if that's where you got to start, like start small, because it still makes a difference. You can snowball with that as well.
Yes,
I agree.
That's so true. We literally went through that in 2019 when our roof leaked and our whole house was no ceilings, no walls, no floors. And it was tough because the insurance would take care of the inside, but they wouldn't take care of the roof. So we were in this.
And how do we come up with the money to get a new roof on our house?
And we were so grateful for the roof we had. Like there was still a roof. Like it was a bizarre situation, but it was one of those things too, where we shifted how we dealt with everything. And in a way, there was so much silver lining to that time. And I think, and maybe this will work for some people as well, especially if you're going through something that's truly challenging, something like your house being torn apart and not having money to fix it, or your car breaking down and not having money to fix it, or whatever it is, you know, in our 20 plus years together, we have had so many situations that are truly challenging. And every time we're able to look back and say, oh, wow, look at this. The why for this is so extraordinary. So now when we're in those challenging situations,
it's
we're
almost like we see
preemptively
it.
grateful. Like,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
And it's
Our
not-
bathroom just flooded.
And it's not fake. And it's literally not fake. And you know, I feel like some of these things do take practice, right? Like stopping and looking back at those situations in your life from like childhood on, like looking back at those situations that you thought were like the world's worst thing. And then realizing that if that didn't happen, this wouldn't happen. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be who I am today. And, you know, like these,
that's a fun hamster wheel to go on.
It is.
Oh yeah.
And that it makes it easier when these situations arise in the moment to be able to still practice gratitude and be like, ooh, like I want to know what this is gonna.
Yeah.
I wonder where this
lesson gonna be. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to ask you guys a question. Just popped into my head. What do you do when one of you is not well, but what do you do when one of you is functioning in a good space and the other one is starting to lose their shit? Like, how do you manage to kind of say like, honey, you know, I think you need to take a bit of a time out there, or, you know, how do you support each other when you've got all the other cats around you? How do you show that love and grace to each other?
Well,
no, not well.
No,
but I would say space.
Yeah.
I think, and Jay is better at this than I am. When I am in full tilt white rage monster mode.
Mm-hmm.
Rage monster mode.
I mean, just really bad.
I've got to go on a t-shirt. You know that, right? Don't talk to me. I'm in white rage monster mode.
I'm pre-menopause people, so I think that was an accurate thing.
Right.
When I'm in that space where it's just, like, you want to, let's talk about gratitude. Let's go. Yeah, whatever it is. If I'm in that space, Jay knows. She doesn't try saying, oh, hey, listen, you need to calm down a little bit. Today is actually a beautiful day. Look at your birdie friends outside. She says nothing. She gives me space. And
I learned that the hard way.
And then she'll do something kind or just considerate, like something as simple as filling up my water bottle, or something that's just like kind, right? Nothing is said. And
that can also, you know, the kindness changes the world, right? Like, and it can shift the energy. Just like, have you ever been like, had a bad day and you're out running errands and somebody says, I really love that top on you. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, like somebody gives you a random compliment that you were not expecting and you were not in that space. And you're like, oh, wow, that was really sweet. And it shifts that energy. Maybe not completely, but it definitely shifts the energy. Kindness does, you know, wonders. And I did learn that the hard way with her. Because I used to just be like, hey, you're angry elf. You need to stop.
You're an angry elf.
Or I would personalize it and I would be like, are you mad at me? What did I do? Right. What, you know, like, and she's just like, shut the up. Leave me alone. And so now I'm like, oh, okay. And in my head, I'm like, she's angry elf. I should do something nice and then walk away. Like, you know, like, but for the most part, I think we are very blessed to work together and live together and have the cats together and do everything together. So our energy is very connected in many ways. So if I'm having a fantastic day, it's almost impossible for her to not have a fantastic day. Right. And vice versa. Right. Like if she wakes up and is super happy, it's hard for me not to be happy. You know, energy is energy, whether it's between people and pets or people and people. Like you can't hide it. Right. Like I can't hide if I wake up stressed out, but I'm still smiling and whatever. She still isn't, you know, she still knows that it's, you know, I'm faking it. Yeah. So yeah, I think we're blessed in that way too.
And how about the other way around? How do you know when Jay, you know, when she needs a time out, when you need to step away?
Be careful.
Yeah.
Kind answers only.
What did you say?
Kind answers only.
No. I think, with Jay, when she gets stressed, it really is. I think space is one thing. The other thing is just thinking about what can be helpful. You know what I mean? Like, is there something on her list that I can take off of her list? Can maybe it's a good idea for her to go run the errand that needs to be done, get out of the house, go do something, shift it a little bit. But I think that it is, we both have every human does. I mean, Jae is funny because she doesn't just get quiet when she's upset, and I tend to just shut it down.
Yeah. She
will sometimes be expressive in ways that I'm like, oh, okay. Gotcha. So I think it is. I mean,
what does that mean?
Right. No, I think, we are like she said, we're really blessed. We've had 20 plus years together to get to know each other. And we've had a lot of evolution that's happened between us. We're very different people. And yet there is a bit of a yin yang energy that happens. And I love that, when she's down, I'll try to stay up. When I'm down, she'll try to stay up. Yeah. And that helps elevate both of us. But I think space is the word. I mean, I'll communicate, ask if there's anything that I can do specifically. And if not, then I just give her space to chip away at her list. And
you tell my stress is at the menopause situation. My stress is always like, what has to be done? Like, and how am I going to be able to get
oh my God, what is going to happen when you hit menopause?
I know.
I did just think that exact same thing.
I got to get it under control first. But it is, it's the situational stuff. It's not like even when I guess it all plays together, right? Like the insomnia thing has been a big thing lately, right? So like for the past week, I haven't really slept a full night. And it's like, I can't figure it out and I'm not sure, but my head is just spinning and spinning and spinning. And so, like I wake up and I'm more stressed because I just didn't get a good night's sleep. Right. But if I do something that still makes me feel productive or, for lack of a better word, proud of myself, then it shifts okay, well, I can make it through this day. Like I can get through here. I can do this. I got this. Right. And it doesn't necessarily turn into like anger. It's I'm the deep breathing, walking around, trying to get stuff done. And then, being short. I guess I am short with people when I'm whatever. I'm short.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah.
A bit sharp, maybe, a bit snippy.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I love how honest you're being. I really do. And I really, truly appreciate you sharing your experience with people. I feel very blessed, since I am the only human in the home, that I don't have anybody else's needs to manage in terms of human to human. When I leave the house and I spend time with my sister or other people, generally family, I breathe such a huge sigh of relief when I come home, because the only needs I have to manage are my own and my boys. So like, whether it's 2 years or 20 years, being together, human to human, can be complicated. And I love that you both said you give each other space. You do, you may consider it a kind thing, but you give each other space. And that is crucial, because it gives you the chance to process, right? Process your emotions, your energy, and to decide how you can, not if you will, but how you can take things forward, whether that's losing yourself in a to-do list, whether that's going and having some quiet time by yourself, reading, like whatever it is, everybody's different. Yeah. Having space to just be in process is one of the best things we can give ourselves. Like you said, we've talked about gratitude and kindness, the breath work, but being able to also communicate your needs if you are living with other humans, is to say like, and this isn't easy for everyone, I understand that, but like, hey, like I'm struggling, or I need a bit of space, or I can't talk about this right now, or I need to figure that out myself. And those things can be challenging. When I was with my ex, like I would come on a live and he would say like, oh, good luck, as if like, God, I hope nothing bad goes wrong. And I hope you don't get any spammers. And I hope, there aren't some shitty comments. And I'm like, I don't need that. Like, I'm going to go on and it's going to be great regardless. And like you said, whatever happens, happens. And I know it will be a lesson and I know I will grow from it. So like, bring it on. Yeah. So thank you both for sharing how you manage your dynamic between the two of you. I really appreciate that.
The good stuff.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
It's true though. You learn. I mean, I think that's like you said, 2 years, 20 years, whatever it is. It is. Love is one of those things that you want to learn the best way to deal with it. It's not like how I would handle it, and that goes for our cats as well. It is a constant learning process. But having that concept, think about wherever you are in life, however long you've lived, whatever situations you've dealt with. We've all survived them. I think some of the most painful moments of our life, or my life specifically, it's like, we got through that. And there was this and there was that. Like, there's this, you just learn what you're capable of. You learn how to best love all the beings in your space. And if you're open to that always, instead of cocooning in or just turning into a cynical, mean person like I have the tendency of doing,
a lot of people.
then
people do.
The growth comes from.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I mean, to be in the Soul Guardian program, there's one of the core components we talk about, which is, victim mindset, to me or for me, like whatever happens is happening to me. And it's like, oh my God, this is really hard and I can't cope with this and things are really difficult. And like, we all have moments of catastrophizing and feeling like we've no idea how we're going to figure this out. No idea, why is all this bad stuff happening constantly. And yet we always have a choice. We have a choice how we view things. We have a choice how we show up. And I'll never forget a lady put in our community, she said, like, this has all gone wrong. A cat was having another setback with his over grooming. Things are really hard for her. And she's like, and I've given myself 2 days. I'm going to wallow for 2 days. I'm going to eat crap. I'm going to feel rubbish. She said, and then after 2 days, I'm going to sort myself out and I'm going to do, X, Y, and Z. And she shared what she was going to do. And I think, we have that opportunity, right, to see things as heavy and hard. And that doesn't diminish the fact that they're not heavy and hard, but to me or for me, because we are all human and we all have different ways of dealing with things. And when it comes to living with our cats as well, they bring their own challenges or lessons or opportunities, depending on how you view it. But it's all about growth, in my opinion, anyway. So I'd love to hear from you guys, like, what happens with your cats when something goes wonky? So in fact, let me rephrase that. My first question is, do you both have particular cats that you're more connected to?
Yes.
Tell us about that first, and then I'll ask my other question in a minute.
Okay. So we've got 2 sibling sets, and then we've got Annie, who is our newest addition. And the older sibling sets are Black Panthers. Friday and Zorro are closer to me. We're more.
She almost just said my cats, didn't you?
Almost. And Jack and Madison are more connected to Adrienne. And so, like, it's just kind of like, they're like, these are my cats and those are your cats. Not really. They're all of our cats. Like, we love them all. Yeah. But yeah.
And what about Annie? Where does she sit?
She's kind of both. At first it was like, oh, she's my cat. And then it was like, oh, she's your cat. And
when we say my cat, your cat, it's not that we actually feel like we have ownership over any of them.
Right. No.
It's just who they gravitate toward. So Annie is we're still learning Annie.
We are still learning.
She will have
Annie.
these moments of outrageous sweetness and silliness in the office with Jay. She's Jay's office cat. She stays there, and sometimes she'll just crawl up on her and give her all this love, and then there are times when she comes at night and she'll wake me up just because she wants snuggles, and she'll lean into. It's like,
she doesn't snuggle with me at night. She snuggles with her, which is I'm a little jealous of. I'm not gonna lie.
No doubt.
But during the day, she's like my office cat, and at night she's her snuggle cat. So we're kind of like,
she'll come and play with me every now and then. She'll come bring me a mouse during the day and give me a little headbutts. But she's not a really, we call her affectionately, our little wildcat, because we're really not sure what's coming next with this little one. She is a special girl.
Breed.
She is, she's just it'll be 2 years next week that she's been in our family.
No.
Right?
Wow.
No.
Right?
No, in 2 days.
In 2 days. Right. That's right. It's this week.
Yeah.
2 years. And it's been fascinating, because not only, it was obvious that you know, the introduction process with her and the other cats has been a challenge and interesting. And, you know, it was like 6 months.
It started off very well.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went south.
And she is, she's just interesting. Some days it's like, oh my God, she's such a sweet, confident cat. And then other days it's like, what is happening? So we're still learning her. And so there's no one, you know, we can't say she gravitates more towards me or Jae. I think that we're both in the same space when it comes to Annie now. But it is interesting. The Panthers definitely favor Jae, and Jack and Maddie favor me when it comes to like just stillness time or time to spend together, how they communicate with us. So, stay tuned for Annie. We'll let you know.
I can't believe that's been 2 years. Like that literally seems like a few months ago. And I remember you putting in the chat, you know, in our group, and like you'd found her the pictures, and like, oh my God, I can't believe that's 2 years.
And she was so sent to us. We know that she was sent to us. So I have a feeling that is part of why there's so much learning to do.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. She is with you to help you to grow like exponentially.
Yeah.
She's breaking all the rules, right? Like, so she's shaking up everything that you've known and being like, right, okay, you think this is how it goes? Well, that's not how it goes. And you think I'm going to be this one day and then I'm this one day. So just keep on your toes.
Yes, she's the exception to every rule.
Yep.
So far. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So do you notice then with the sets that you have more connection with, let's say, like you don't like love differently, but that you're more connected to? Do you notice then, so like the Panthers will be reactive when Jae, your Adrienne, when your energy is off, or is it like kind of opposite? Who do they bonded with you the most, but is it your energy that sets them off equilibrium, or is it with Adrienne?
It's interesting that you asked that, because
that is a great question.
It is a great question. We've actually spoken with animal communicators who have told us that this is happening, right? Like that Friday specifically is so connected to my energy that when my energy is off, her energy is off. And then since then I see it more. But again, we're also so connected that, again, if I have a good day, it's almost impossible for her to not have a good day. But it goes the other way too. Right. If I'm having a bad day, it's almost impossible for her to not have a good day. Right. So I think, I think we're both, it's important that we both stay on track as much as possible in order to keep the And
what's funny is when you said that, when you asked that very interesting question, do they respond, are bonded, the sibling sets, do they respond specifically? And what's funny is I was about to say, oh yeah, Friday is totally, it's like a beacon between the two of them.
Fascinating.
I definitely feel like it is it's almost like a mirrored energy in a way. And for me, it's a Madison. So it's the girl.
Isn't that interesting?
I don't really see the, Jack is
our boys are perfect, honestly. Our boys are true. The boys are perfect. Like they are about as perfect as you can get when it comes to cats. Like
I see Zorro being like affectionate when there's an issue.
He's a nurturer. He's a lover. He's
And Jack is like, oh, you're in a bad mood.
He's a comedian.
Watch me do this.
I will do something to make you smile. Like
right. And Madison is the one that she'll wait if I'm having the bad like off day. She is the most like I just looking at her face in my head right now. She'll just come sit on me even when I'm not really wanting someone to come sit on me, and she will make little biscuits and then she looks up at me and gives me the love eyes, just like, and you can't help but be melted. It's just like she's like this sage of a sweet, I don't even know, but it's the girls that show some sort of response.
It's the
energy.
Female energy in the home that's always the issue.
There's a lot.
I was going to say, that's no real surprise, so you've got the boys that are the nurturers when things need to shift. So they'll be joyful, they'll be silly, they'll be kind, they'll be loving. And then you've got the girls who kind of lose the shit a bit and, you know, react to what's going on with you.
Yes.
Right.
But I think, like you said, it shows that we are all connected, right? And actually, I think Laura Lee posted something about, you know, we all do try our best. And there are days when you're still going to get it a bit wrong, right? There are still going to be days when, you know, you don't do what you want to do, or you go to bed and think, damn it, I wish I'd done so and so, or I've noticed that's going on, or I need to deal with that tomorrow. And I think it kind of goes full circle, doesn't it? It comes back to the grace and compassion. And I think when it comes to our fur babies, like, there is a huge space for us to have that, you know. And something I learned, I think it may have been Tony Robbins, but don't quote me on that, said about appreciation versus expectation, you know. And when I've shifted that with my boys, it's made a huge difference. Yeah. So, you know, when I, you know, expected or wanted Leo to clean his plate of food or eat his plate of food, you know, he would walk away from it and I'd get so mad and angry. And, you know, of course, the next plate of food you put down, like, wait, he's not going to eat it anyway. What's the point? But then I changed it to be like, do you know what, buddy? You sniffed it. I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. You know, and I love where you said, like, they all react differently and they have all got unique personalities. And I think, you know, we recognize about humans, like you said, I'm going to give her space. I'm going to give her space, like, because she needs to deal with their stuff. And they have that too, right? They have those times when we may want to love with them, we may want to play with them, or we may be busy, but they want to interact. They have needs that we meet as well. And how do you manage when you've got 2 versus 5? Like, how do you do that?
I'm going to just put it out there that we do it badly. And I'm going to do it. No. I'm going going a little overboard, but yeah, that is totally a judgment thing. But by that, I mean, like, I know for a fact, there's something that I read it in Pam Bennett Johnson. I always mess up her name. In her book, Cat vs. Cat.
Yes. Yeah, good book. Very good book.
Oh, wow. Right. And there is this thing that I know if we were more regular about it, and it's interactive playtime. We now have a clouder that, you know, it's not like when our precious Pooh Bear was with us. He would never play around other cats. He would only play by himself. And we were actually pretty good with his confidence building sessions and making that a priority and all that. And now we've got these, you know, 5 cats, 7 and under, and every now and then there's issues, and we're very busy these days. We're very blessed and we're very busy these days, but we aren't doing just that half an hour play session with everyone.
Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest part of having multiple cats is finding the time, especially if you're business owners and you've got, you know, a busy life going on, or a really busy job or something like that. Like,
or you're gone 16 hours of the day.
Yeah,
you know?
Or you're gone. Right. And we're here, but we're still so busy that, like, taking that time out to spend individually with each one is difficult. Yeah. And in all honesty, it happens more often for me, at least, when they come to me. So if they come to me and say, hey, I need some moments with you, then I will spend some moments with them. Right. Unless I'm really busy. And then I'm like, you can sit with me, but I still got to work.
Yeah.
But I think I don't feel like we're different in that way. I feel like the majority of cat parents, probably the hardest thing is to play, from the people that we talk to, right? Yeah. Is to spend that individual daily time with each cat, playing with them. And that doesn't matter if you have 1 cat or 2 cats, or, you know, like, life gets busy. Also give yourself grace, right? Yeah. But one other thing I want to say is that we also have to give ourselves boundaries. And this is something I learned the hard way this past year. Is that, you know, we're yes girls. We're like, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do this. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we can. Okay. We want to, you know, we're people pleasers. We want to save the world of cats. We want to get we want to change the world. And so we spend all our moments trying to do everything that we can to change the world and do, you know, good things, but not giving ourselves those boundaries, whether it's in the morning to go for that run, or go for that walk, or do that meditation, or whatever it is that, you know, makes you, like, have a better day to start off your day. Or if it's saying no. And and it's saying no, not in a rude way. Like we can absolutely say, no, I'm sorry, but we're booked, maybe next year or maybe next month, or, you know, whatever it is. Like I don't have that in my capacity right now to do. So maybe we can do that later, push it off to give yourself some time. Or like we do now, which the past 2 weekends are the only times that we've done it this year, which is probably part of our downward spiral right now. Yeah. But we take Sundays and we put our phones down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
like
so Saturday night
it goes down and we don't look at it again until
Monday morning.
Nice.
Right. So,
and that's harder to do than
you think,
which is why we've done it twice this year. So
yeah. I mean, there's, you know, it's hard to say no, but if you carve out that time that this is like Sundays are a no, I'm sorry. No, we can't do that business lunch. No, we can't, you know, film this weekend. No, we can't, whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry, we can't do that because Sundays are a no, right? Yeah. Like we have to give ourselves that boundary in order to have, you know, a more successful, happier, centered life week, whatever that is. I think it
turns into our catch-all day. You know, it's like we work and we ship our orders Monday through Saturday. And then it's like, well, okay, well, that gets pushed off until Sunday. So it turns into this catch-all day. The interesting thing about prioritizing and doing that boundary is that there will always be 17 things. You know, and taking that time, that mind space, that break, that, maybe it's just getting away from the EMFs for a little while. Who knows?
Yeah.
It makes the rest of the week, no matter how busy, much more positive and energized and a lot less anxiety. So it's an interesting dynamic that what you think is going to be like, well, no, I can't take Sunday off because we didn't do this or that or whatever. It's actually the opposite of that. And we get to do stuff like if in our home with our babies for our, you know, we just we have not had a light in our garage in 4 years.
Yeah.
It took us actually 5 minutes.
We did it yesterday and it took 5 minutes.
Right.
Like, and it feels good because now we have light in there and we're not trying to like open the door every time we need to find something in the garage. Right. We just took that time because we gave ourselves that time. And so we're still productive, right? We're still like,
but
last weekend we cleaned out the garage, like that had been piling up for a year, you know, like, but it's a different kind of priority. And you're doing stuff that it might be productive and maybe you feel better. Maybe it's okay to sit on the couch and watch TV all day. Absolutely. Like whatever, you know, works for you. For me, I'm a like productive kind of person. Like I want to get things done to feel good about my day. Right. So
she loves her list.
I was going to say, I bet she's a list writer, isn't she?
A little tidbit here. Sometimes if she gets something done during the day that wasn't on her list, she will be like, she will write it down with her pen, and then she will mark it off with her red pen.
I did that this morning.
See, it's probably not a day that goes by. She loves her list.
I love that. Well, that helps you to feel like you've achieved something, right? It gives you validation for what you've gone through for the day. Like I managed to shower. Yes, I managed to get that done. Like, I'm not saying a shower, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
No, I will write down laundry. If I'm like, you know what, I didn't get the laundry done. That's because I didn't write it down. If I write it down, I will get it done. Yeah. But that's during the week. On a Sunday, when we have our phones down, there's no list other than the grocery list. There's no list. Yeah. It's what can we do?
Oh my God. That will make time move so much slower.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. So it is. And I do think, you know, there is nothing wrong with being like, yes, girls. And I think it does help, using your word again, to have conscious awareness about what we're saying yes to. I think that's also a blessing that we have, that if something resonates with both of us, that is a yes. If one of us has a red flag about something, that's a let's think about it.
Yeah.
Right. And why is intuition just a little off for one of us on this? And then it may be a no, but sending, you know, having boundaries and being that conscious awareness in so many things of like, why are we saying yes to this? Mm-hmm. Is this something that's going to bring value? Is it something that, you know, would just be fun? Is it, you know, what is it? Because it is going to go on her list. And it's going to land on a day that there are 17 other things on that list. And then are we still going to have the same energy about it?
Well, that's it. Like, what are you doing to like put sparkle in your jar, right? If you've got that list of things and you're doing it every day, you're taking out scoops every day, like 17 scoops come out. Well, when did the scoops go back in? Like, I'll never forget. I said to my sister, I went to my best friend's wedding a few years ago, and it put sparkle in my jar and it took sparkle out. And she was like, hey, I said, well, I'm really full of love to see my best friend get married. Like, that put sparkle in my jar. However, there's like 50 to 70 people, I'm an introvert. Like, I love to be in my own space, doing my own thing. So being around that many people, it took sparkle out. It was effort. It was, I was kind of aware of everybody's energy and things. So when you said about like the Sundays, I realized this last year, it's not selfish to practice self-care, right? If we don't do that, we can't be the best cat mums and cat dads that we can be. When we're literally dealing with the crusty glitter at the bottom of the jar day after day after day, like, that's finite. That resource is finite. So then we're looking at burnout and, addictive behaviors, difficult thinking and all that kind of heavy stuff. And it doesn't have to get to that place. It's not selfish to practice self-care. We all are worthy and deserving of being loved and looked after, even if that is by ourselves. And when we do that, they can all feel it. The fur babies are like, oh my gosh, isn't this amazing? Like, I want to come and be with you. Even if they're not lap cats, they may just be near you more. Like this weekend, I did loads of batch cooking. I had 2 walks with my sister, watched a bit of box set, did a few cleaning jobs. And I thought, I've had a really good mix of a weekend. And then Sunday night, I laid on the sofa watching a Marvel film, and both the boys were on my legs, and they actually both stretched out, and they were touching paws.
Oh,
like yeah. So if ever you need a reason, peeps, to practice self-care and self-love, to put in boundaries, to prioritize yourself, to catch your breath, to take a moment, whatever it may be, think about doing it for your fur babies, because they feel everything from us. Right? We are so deeply connected with them that when we nurture ourselves, we actually nurture them too.
Yes. I think playtime or no playtime,
exactly.
like if we are being good to ourselves, then they feel it, regardless of if they get all the things that we think we're supposed to do with them.
I do think, like cats are like the canary in the coal mine. I remember we were doing in the presentation on toxicity with cats and how, they're the ones that are always absorbing everything on the ground. It's like, are you using plugins? I'm going to bring it back around in just a minute. Plugins, whatever, cleaners or whatever it is. Like, the cats are the canary in the coal mine. Like, something's going on, and it's because the chemical load in their system is 40 times what it is to us. Not that we're not affected by these same toxins. I now will put forever in my mind, I will identify crusty glitter as a toxin for cats. If I know we are getting to the bottom of the sparkle jar, crusty glitter.
You're dealing with, if you're handing out your crusties, you got to look at yourself.
I'm serious though. Like, the visual of it, I forgot about your sparkle jar, and your sparkle jar has always made me happy, but I never heard about the crusties at the bottom.
Oh yeah, crusty glitters at the bottom. Yeah, you don't want to be giving those out to anybody. Absolutely not.
Nobody wants the crusty glitter.
They're toxic. It's toxicity for our cats. Jack, what's in my brain forever now. Thank you.
I love it. So, conscious awareness, peeps, and your crusty glitters. If you take nothing else away from tonight.
That's valuable. It is.
Is there anything else in the last minute that you would like to share with people, or to give them a closing thought from our session today?
I think I just want to wrap it back around to give ourselves grace, but understand that we are, like, be accountable, but don't be guilty.
Yes.
Feel accountability. Don't feel guilt. They're 2 totally different things, and one will lift you up and the other can just bring you down.
Yeah.
And my closing thought is just back to kind of what you said. And I think most of us here probably agree with this. Our cats are really our greatest teachers in so many ways. And I remember back when we first had cats show up, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to rescue them. I'm going to give them a good home. I'm going to whatever. And it has this very like one-sided kind of energy. And I think that this whole journey is just about, you know, that learning process of our cats are here to teach us, and we're also here to help them in whatever way. But that it is a two-way street, and it's a beautiful journey. And what are the chances that we get to spend, you know, we think about this with Andy, what are the chances that we found her when we found her? But every single being in our lives is like that. What are the chances that this would happen?
We would have met.
We would share our lives together. So I think, you know, being in that state of this mutual, it's a mutual blessing. It's mutual gratitude. It's a beautiful experience, and it's a great journey to be on. And there's much to learn and much to be grateful for. And that will help manage the stress.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you, ladies. I know we could stop and chat for like a whole other hour, but I know we've got other things to do. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you to everyone that's been in the comments, and I really appreciate you being here with us. Oh my God, how are you doing those graphics?
It's a Mac thing. Are you on a Mac computer?
No.
Because they're fun. If you got...
Oh, come on now, Lisa.
Now, how's that? Put that in your sparkle jar.
That has put sparkle in my jar. Right. Good old big fat scoop. Oh my God. Ladies, it's been brilliant to be with you all. And thank you everyone for being here. And that reminds me, actually, we're live on Saturday, other way around, with your community, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And we're going to be talking about color therapy.
This is going to be a good one.
Very excited for you to share your sparkles of color with us.
Yes. So 7 p.m. UK time. I don't think your clocks have changed, is it? So it's 12 noon?
Noon for us, 7 p.m. for you.
Right. You're Pacific?
Yes.
Right. On that note, peeps, we'll see you on Saturday. Thank you for being here. Lots of love to everybody. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.